Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining us for our ShareFile end user training, brought to you by Citrix Customer Success Management team. We're really excited to share all our tips and tricks of using your new ShareFile tool, so let's get started. Before we get started, depending on the licensing that you purchased, the tool may be called Content Collaboration, Citrix Files, or even ShareFile. The tool features are all the same, but just to avoid confusion as we're going through the presentation, we will use all three namings. We also have added a reference guide, so as we go through the slide deck today, you'll note that the reference guide is listed as a resource on the control panel here within GoToWebinar. So all the linked material that we go through today, you'll have access to even after the session today. We will also be taking questions throughout the presentation, so as you have questions, please enter them into the questions box also on your GoToWebinar control panel. You'll be able to enter in questions as we go, but we'll wait until the end of the presentation to go through all of the questions then. Feel free to ask for us to deep dive any of the features or even ask a question about a topic that maybe we haven't touched. We'll be more than happy to re-review or deep dive into that feature. For presenters today, we have Megan Kramer, Senior Program Manager of Customer Success, Krutika Sain, Senior Product Manager of Admin Experience, and our technical guru, Jose Yulico, Customer Success Manager in the Americas. For the agenda today, we'll be going over account setup, where you'll be able to locate your welcome email and sign-in page. We'll also go over your personal settings that you can update. And then we'll go into a deep dive inside the tool. We'll go over your dashboard, managing files and folders, being able to share your files and folders, and then also requesting files. Finally, for the third portion, we'll go over advanced features. We'll go over ShareFile Office Online Editing, Outlook plugin, Citrix Files for Windows and Mac, and then finally our print driver. So let's get started. The first section, again, is account setup.
Thanks, Meg. So before you get your hands dirty with ShareFile, let's go ahead and work through getting access to your account. The first thing you want to do when you get your ShareFile account is locate the email that was sent to you from your account administrator. Once you find it, you'll want to click on Activate Account to be directed to enter your name and create a password. After logging in, be sure to bookmark the page for faster access to your web portal. Going forward, you'll be prompted to enter your email and password to access ShareFile. If you ever need to reset your password, use the Forgot Password link on this page. Once you've gotten access to your account, you want to start to get familiar with your personal settings. Some of the main settings that stand out are 1. Edit your profile. So this is where you can change your password, update email addresses, and email notifications. The second one is personal security, where you can set up two-step verification, where you can use your phone to provide an extra layer of security for your username. You can either set up telesign or register a QR code to log in. The third and fourth one are personal cloud connectors as well as advanced connectors. Connect to one of the cloud services to access files stored there through ShareFile. This really helps you migrate your data without having to lift and shift from other data sharing products. And then the final one that we have here are apps and devices. Lock a user account on the device to prevent the user from accessing the ShareFile data on it.
Perfect. Thank you, Kruti. So now let's take a look inside the tool. First, we'll go into personalized dashboard. Jose?
Thank you, Megan. So one of the things in ShareFile is that you are able to set your account as best suited. So one of the things that we have is the dashboard, and this is basically the landing page after you log on to ShareFile, and it's basically a place where you will be able to see shortcuts to the most common functions or files that you have been accessing, even folders. It has by default 4 tiles which you can choose to display or not by clicking on the Edit Dashboard. The sections are recent files, which is going to show the 5 files that you have been accessing most recently. And this is an easy way to go back to files that you were previously working on. Shortcut section will allow you to button to the most common tasks and features on share file, so you can start working right away, sharing or requesting files as an example. The tutorial section will have a selection of articles and videos, which will be categorized for navigating easily through them, and it's a great resource for people, especially starting using the application. The favorite section will allow you to shortcut files and folders that you mark as favorites in order to save time in case that you are looking for files and folders that you need to access frequently. Then you have the option to create personal folders. All employee users are assigned a personal folder by default. This personal folder, you will have full administrator rights on it and on any subsequent subfolders that you create in the personal folder root section. So you will be able to create and delete folders and files, add users, and determine the specific permissions that you want to set for them. In order to do this, you will have to click on the white plus sign, and this will display a menu with the actions available. This is the easiest way to create new folders. Right-click on any folder or file will display the available actions for those specific folders and files. Multiple items can be selected, and this changes the available options that you have. The shared folders will display any folders that other users have shared with you. The actions that you might perform in these folders will vary on the specific level of access that you have been granted previously by administrator. Creating folders in the root level of shared folders is a specific access that might be revoked when creating employee users. This helps administrator to have a better managing of the file structure. Users with admin rights to specific shared folders will have the same level of control that they have on their personal folders. Right-clicking on an item will display the actions available for the specific selection of files and folders. So for the folder settings, we have the folder expiration date, and this is the date when the folder and all of the items inside will be deleted. The file retention policy, on the other hand, will allow you to set a specific amount of days, after which the files inside this folder will be deleted, but the folder will remain. File versioning will allow you the option to create a new version of a file instead of overwriting the file. Sort order will allow you to set default sort order fields, and you can have this apply to your subfolders. The folder template will allow you to select a folder template previously created by an administrator to apply the folder structure to this specific folder. The storage zone will allow customers to manage the storage zones, and this will allow users to change the storage zone from a specific folder. Now, in order to add users to a folder, the admin's right will be required on that specific folder. Then you should click on People on this folder tab, and then just proceed by adding the user. By checking the boxes, you will select the specific permissions every user and distribution group will have on the folder. To add users, again, just click on Add People to Folder, and this will allow you to add multiple users at the same time and user group, and use a similar checkbox matrix to determine the specific levels of access. To remove users, then you just click on the checkboxes next to the names you want to remove, and then click on Remove Selected. Clone User will allow you to add a user with the same access level as the selected user. So let's see how this works.
Okay, now let's take a view at the dashboard. So the dashboard is basically the landing page after you log on to the Citrix share file. And this is going to be the view that you will have as soon as you log on. So as you can see, we have by default 3 default sections over here at the center. So we had favorites, where you can actually check on the folders that I have and files that I also have marked as favorites, right? The recent files, which is going to show me the top files that I have been working on. A list of 5 will be displayed there. Shortcuts down below, where I can actually start working on the most common functions on share file. So I can start sharing and requesting files, for example. And also, you need to know regarding the dashboard that you can drag around sections and then just place them as you want to. You can also click on Edit Dashboard and perhaps add a different section here as an example tutorials. So you will know how this section here that is going to give you some useful videos and links for different topics that you might need to check on. I strongly recommend to check on this, especially when you are starting using ShareFile, to learn a little bit more about the application. We also have the folder sections over here. So I'm going to show you how to create a folder, right? I will be creating this folder in the share folder section here. And what I will do will be just to go to the plus sign here, click on create folder, right? I'm going to name this one financial, right? As you can see, when I'm creating a folder, I have the option to add people to this folder. However, I'm not going to do that because I will do it a little bit later. All right. Once you create a folder in ShareFile, the system is going to take you inside that folder so you can start working on the folder that you just created, right? As you can see at this moment, this folder is empty, but perhaps I might need to add some people first before I start adding some documents in there. So let's do that. As an administrator, I have the option to view these people on this folder tab. So you will be able to add people from this view, right? Just clicking on this tab. And by going to the add people to folder, which is this blue button here. What I will do will be to then look for a peer or a user that I have already registered in ShareFile and just apply the permissions to that person. So as you can see, as I selected my peer Tatiana, I will be able to give her the default access, which are view, download, and upload, right? And with the default notifications. So let's click on add. And there you go. This is how you can add someone to a folder.
Great, thank you, Jose. So now let's go into managing files within the folders. To add a file, it's pretty simple. Just click on the blue circle with the white plus sign, and you'll be able to see where you can upload a file. That will be the simplest way to do it from within the web browser. But additionally, you can also do drag and drop. Simply pick up the folder from your desktop and drag it to the web browser to drop the file. This will allow you to add multiple files at once if needed. Additionally, we can go into file versioning. Jose, would you like to cover file versioning?
Yes, Megan, thank you. File versioning is a feature that might be enabled on ShareFile. It's both an account-wide policy and a folder-specific setting. So folder administrators might override account-wide policy. There's no limit to the maximum number of versions that might be stored of any specific files. So files that have multiple versions will display the blue sheet of paper icon. And clicking on the icon will display the different file versions that are available. So you will be able to select which one do you want to download or delete in case that you have such right. Any files with the exactly same name file and file type will be automatically saved as the latest version. This ensures that no changes will be lost between updates or edits, and that there will be no file overwritten. If a user attempts to download a file that has multiple versions, the latest version will be the one that will be downloaded by default. To access previous versions of a file, just click on the blue version of icon, and by default, the file versioning will be saving unlimited versions of a given file. The account default is to have an admin user on the account. Changing this, but by default will be enabled. The file check-in and check-out. So the file check-in and check-out prevents users from uploading different versions of the same document while another has locked the document. So to check documents out, you may right-click on the item, then check the box next to the item name and click on More. Then this will allow you to select the option to check out. When you check out a file, a message will display just to confirm, and you will see an icon, an orange icon that will also let you know that the file has been checked out. If a user attempts to upload a document with the same name to the same folder, they will see an error message shown there, and it will let them know that the file has been checked out. So they won't be able to upload the file until the file is checked back in again. You might discard the checkout at any time by right-clicking on the item and selecting the Discard Checkout. You might upload a new version of the file by right-clicking on the item and selecting Check-in. This option will take you to the upload page to upload a new version of the file. Sharing files and folders. To display the share options, users can do either or both. You can check the boxes next to the items that I want to share, or else just right-click on the item that you want to share and click on the share button that is displayed. When clicking on the shortcut section, the share menu will not display any content to be shared. The other two options will show the items that were checked. All of this will take the users to the share screen where they might choose from the available sharing options. Sharing files. So once you get a file to share, you have two main options, either email with share file or get a link. The recipients will not have to be added beforehand to the account because you will have the option to edit the message options and then add them. You can also change the notifications, expiration date for the link, and the required users to login options. Also, be sure to know that the requesting files has exactly the same process and the same options. So let's see how this works.
Okay, there's a couple things that you need to know. So this is a folder view, and we're going to discuss about the files. So the first thing is how to upload a file to ShareFile. You have different ways to do that. So you can always go to the plus sign here, click on Upload, and this will bring you to a screen where you will be actually able to select a file or browse a file on your computer. Or a simpler way to do this is actually to just have your File Explorer open there, look for the file that you need to upload to ShareFile, and then just drag and drop it over here, right? As you can see, it's quite simple and fast, and depending on the file size, it's going to take a little bit longer than usual, but it's going to be there. You're going to get a notification about the upload here, and also who was the person that uploaded the file, all right? Speaking about files, there's a couple of things that we need to be aware of as well. So file versioning. File versioning is a feature on ShareFile that will allow you to keep different versions of a file available for everybody that has access to a folder to check on. So you're going to notice that a file has different versions on it because you will notice a blue sheets icon towards the right. And if you hover over the mouse, it's going to let you know that this file has multiple versions. So by default, the latest version that has been saved will always be available right here. So you can just click on it and download it. If you want a different version, you can click on the blue sheets and then select the version that you want to go back to and download that version, right? So this is great because you will be able to forget about overwriting a file by mistake, and you can always go back to previous versions of files, right? Also, if you want to make sure that you are the only one working on a file at this very moment and that nobody else that has access to this folder is going to tamper with that file while you're working on it, you can always check out a file. You can do this by right-clicking on the file that you're going to work on and then click on the checkout function. As you can see, the system is going to let you know that the checkout will expire in 24 hours if no other action is taken on it. So by doing this, I'm going to pretty much let this file locked. So everybody else will know or will get a notification whenever they try to open this file that this file is currently being worked on by myself. So they will get a similar message letting them know when the locked out or the checkout would expire, right? By doing this, I'm making sure that nobody else will modify this file while I'm working on it. And then when I'm done, I can, save the new version of the file by uploading it, or I can just right-click back on the document and click on Discard Checked Out. All right. Well, now the last thing that need to know about files is how to share them. So the easiest way for me to share a file is, as I just did, just mark the file here, click on Share, and then you will have two main options to share the file. Email with share file, and this way you will have to specify who are going to be the recipients of this file. So you need to know who is this file address for, and get a link, which will allow you to basically create a link to this file. So whoever gets access to this link will be able to download the file. And the main difference is the audience. So with this one, email with share file, you need to specify the audience. While getting a link will allow you to just copy a link, and it's going to be for an open audience, since anyone that has access to the link will be able to share the file. So right now what I will do is just click on email with share file, looking for a contact that I already have in share file. All right, add a small subject. If I want to add a message, which is optional, I can do so. I'm gonna leave it as it is right now. And then I'm going to click on send. There you go. I will get confirmation that the item was sent successfully. And this just to let me know that my coworker Tatiana will be receiving that file.
Great, thank you, Jose. So now let's go into advanced features in the portal. The first one being Office Online Editing.
The ShareFile Office Online Editing will allow you to edit documents online using ShareFile. So a customer that owns an Office 365 licenses will benefit from the ShareFile Office 365 integration because it will allow them to, create new spreadsheets or documents and presentation on any folder where they have upload rights. And also they will be able to edit any of those Office 360 compatible files on any folder where they are located. So and as long as they have rights. So users will simply need to complete the login when they are prompted to the Office 365, and Office 365 will automatically be stored within ShareFile. So those credentials will be saved there. The customer that owns Office 365 will also have the option to collaborate online with another peer that has access to the same file. Also, the Office plugin. The Office plugin is another tool that ShareFile has made available for customers that will allow them to use the Office application in order to start sharing and requesting files in a more easy way using their Outlook tool. So in order to share documents, when composing a new email, you can click on the Attach Files in the Citrix Files ribbon. The files are not attached to the email per se, so this helps circumvent file size limitations for attachments. So to request documents, the request links are displayed as hyperlinks that you can click, and users might change the text to a phrase that better suits their company needs or branding. And you can also create a direct link in your email signature. So let's see how this works.
Okay, now let's take a look at online editing, which is a function that ShareFile has, but you will need to have your employee user with an Office 365 license assigned, so they will be able to do the online editing. I'm going to pick any of the Microsoft Office files that I got here. As an example, this template. And you're going to notice that it's going to let you know that it's a Word Online document. So over here, we'll have a preview of the document, and I will have some of the basic functions for the Word Online. But what I want to do is to edit the file. So I'm going to click on Edit, which is on the right panel. And on the next screen, I will be able to work on this document online. So no need to open Microsoft Word to start working on that. As you can see, this is a ShareFile document, saved to ShareFile, but it's still a Microsoft Word online document. So all I need to do will be to type in here or do the modifications that I need to do. Notice that at the top it says saving as I'm making changes to the file, and when it's ready, it's just gonna read save to ShareFile, right? So you know that every time that you do something new, a modification is gonna be saved as the new version of the file. If I want to save this file, basically I just need to exit out, and the new version of the file will be saved there, right? So now let's talk about the Outlook plugin integration. So in order for me to work on that, I'm going to show you my Microsoft Outlook here. You're going to notice that this application is installed on your Outlook because you will have this blue options button over here where you can control how do you want this plugin to behave with your Outlook. So if I click there, I will be able to change the general settings, which will allow me to see how I do want ShareFile to interact on the attachments. So whether I want to convert all attachments to a ShareFile format, or if I want to convert the attachments that are over 5 megabytes, something like that, or just the ones that I choose. By default, the option will be set to automatically convert attachments over 5 megabytes, but you can change this. You can also change the expiration policy, which is defaulted to all of the files that you send as attachments. And if you want to show the ShareFile icon, which you will see in a bit. So let me just save this feature, click on OK here. And now let me show you how an email that you're composing with the Outlook plugin is going to look like. So I just create a new email, and you see that from this view, it's pretty much the same. I will have a couple of extra buttons there available, like the encryption. If you want to work with share file encryption, you can do so. This is going to add an extra layer of security to the documents and emails that you're sending, right? Also, we have here on the right a couple other features that this plugin is going to give you. As an example, you can start attaching files from here, requesting files, or even initiate workflows. So what I'm going to do here is to send an email to my coworker Tatiana, right? And I'm going to attach a file that I have on my share file. When you click on attach files, you're going to notice that it's going to give you two options, from PC or from Citrix. From Citrix is going to be from your share file account. So you will be able to pick a file or folder that you have access to on your share file account. So let's do that. You see that I have the option to select different ones. So if I go to favorites, I should be able to just go and pick one of the ones that I got here. Right? Let's pick this one. And there you go. Once the file is attached in share file format, it's not going to send a huge attachment regardless of the size of the document. So basically what you will be sending out to your contact there is only a link on a banner format that is going to give them the access to download this file securely from my share file account from the cloud. So I'm just going to send this to my peer, right? And wait for her response back. And there you go. The message has been sent.
Now, Citrix Files is a tool that ShareFile has made enabled for both Mac and Windows users, and this will allow the users to have an easier way to access what they have access to through the portal. So, as an example, you will see that accessing the ShareFile will be easier because on Windows you will have the Explorer interface, and what you basically will have is a network drive-like interface that will allow you to access the content that you have been granted access to. We also have the print driver. So the print driver is basically a printer emulator that will allow you to upload a file to ShareFile instead of printing it out. So the way it works is that you will be able to select a file and then print it through the print driver option. So the print driver will take that file and it will give you the option to just not save it into ShareFile, but also take it for directions. As an example, you can share the file to another party using ShareFile, or you can send it out to be used as an e-signature document, which requires the right signature integration.
All right, now let me show you the print driver. So the print driver will basically allow you to emulate a physical driver, but instead of printing out physical pages, what you will be doing is basically converting any TXT, Word document, or PDF into a PDF that will be saved into your ShareFile account, or that you will be able to use on ShareFile. So let me show you how it works with this document. So let's say that I need to print out this document, ShareFile. So I'll go to File, Print. And here, instead of picking up any of my physical printers, I will just select the Citrix Print to Share file, click on Print. And what's going to happen next is that I will have the window of Share file telling me where I need to save this document within my Share file account. So let me show you here. There you go. This is the document that I will be saving. As you can see, the format will be PDF, meaning that even though this document was initially a Word document, it's going to be printed out as a PDF within my ShareFile account. So I'm going to save a PDF copy of that document instead of doing a physical printing, actually. Over here, I will just need to select where do I want to save this document. I'm going to just save it on my clients folder. And then I can click on Upload Only. Or if I want to take more actions within ShareFile, I can just click on more actions here. And as you can see, I can email with ShareFile, copy a link to the file, send it for signature, which will require right signature, or with SFAX. At this moment, I'm just going to upload it only. You will see a progress bar, and there you go. Then you will get a confirmation that the message has been successfully uploaded to the client's folder as I did. Over here, you can take additional actions if you want to, right? And you will basically going to have the same actions that I showed you before, or you can just close out the window knowing that this file has been saved on your ShareFile account.
Perfect. Thank you, Jose. So now we've gone over all of the features that we outlined in the beginning agenda. Now we'd like to go over any questions that you may have. Again, feel free to add questions to the control panel on the right-hand side of your screen. It looks like we do have a few coming in, so we are ready to answer any of those questions.
All right, thanks everyone for listening thus far. Yeah, we do have a few questions that have come in, but feel free to continue to submit any additional questions that you have on the topics that we covered today. And the first one, Jonathan, can you go ahead and show us how to remove someone from a folder, please?
Absolutely. Thank you, Grace, for that question. Yeah, so as we review during the presentation, so we saw how to actually add people to the folder, and the process to remove it will be pretty simple. So what you have to do is pretty much locate a folder where you want to remove that person. So I'm gonna go here to, let's say, to the demo folder. And what you have to do is just the same, go to the people on this folder option right here. Once you click on here, you'll be able to see all the users that have access to this specific folder. And you can basically just select this checkbox and you can remove selected here. So once you remove it, he's gonna be taken out here on the system. Something important and also I wanted to mention is that as you can see here, you can also modify the permissions that this person has over the folder. So you can always grant them admin permissions to be able to receive alerts. And by default, they will go like the view, download, and upload options available.
All right, perfect. Can you go through how to request a file from a client user?
Absolutely perfect. So there are a couple of ways that you can do that. So let's see. First thing that you need to do is just make sure that you're in the location or in the folder where you want to request that file. So one of the things that you can do is you can come here to this menu option and you can use the select request files. So once you use this option, those files that you're requesting are going to be placed directly on the personal folder. Another thing that you want to do is you might want to go here directly to the folder, use exactly the same option here, request files, and this will bring you all these different options. So the most commonly used options are requests with Citrix. So when you do this, basically you're going to be using our messaging system to request those files. And you also have the option to request a link. So with this link, it is easy to use it because basically with that link, you can use your own Outlook or email platform that you normally use and just attach that link to the body of your email. So it usually like just go with the Citrix. So when you click on it, you will see here like the different options. So the recipients, you can enter as many people as you want here to send this email. And you just need to enter a subject. So this will be an email request for document. And you can personalize a message here. So you have the option to edit some of the options, for example, to get a copy of this email once you send it. Also add some additional security, asking someone to log in, so enter email address and some credentials. Also, you'll be able to set the expiration date, and you can modify all these options right here before sending that email. Also, if by any chance you decide that you don't want these files to be uploaded to the folder demo, so you can always come here on this screen as well and make changes to it. So you don't want it to go to the demo, so you want to change it to customers and select done. And now this time, when the recipient or the end user uploads the file, it will go directly to the customer folder. So once you're finished, you just need to click on send, and you'll see that message says that the email was sent successfully. The end user or the recipient will get an email with a link. Once they click on that link, they will be able just to upload files to, to that specific folder that we selected.
All right, perfect. Thanks, Jonathan. So next question that came in is, so this customer doesn't have Office 365, so can you show us other ways to edit files?
Perfect. Yeah, and that's a good question. As we saw during the presentation, so when you have Office 365, it's easy to modify files right there on the browser. So for the case when you don't have Office 365 integration, so the best way to do it here is basically you'll have to download the file directly to your computer, make the changes as you need it, and then what you have to do is upload the file exactly to the same location and with the same name. So when you do that, basically you'll see that this versioning icon right here on the right side, it will be showing that you actually have multiple versions of that file. So you have to be very careful on this. And as I said, you have to use exactly the same name, because if by any chance you change something, when you try to upload that file, the system will recognize this one as a new one. So maybe a clear example that I have here is I got these three files. So I got Jonathan 2020 January. I started with 21st, and then I uploaded a second one with 22nd and a third one with 23rd. So you see the system here actually created three different files instead of creating the versioning. So if I uploaded a new one with January 21st like this, I will get that icon here. And also something important here, as we said, so if you want to download this one, if you download this file, you'll be downloading the latest version that was edited. But in the case that you want to go back a few versions and double check, make sure that they were not changes, the unwanted changes. So you can always come here, click on this icon, and it will give you all the versions available for this folder. So you will be able to see the date that was uploaded, and it will always show you the current version as the latest one that was uploaded.
All right, perfect. That makes sense. Awesome. So we have two questions that came in regarding the plugin for Outlook. So can you first start off by showing us how to get the plugin for Outlook?
Perfect. Yep, let me go ahead and exit out of here. So when you get here to the main screen on Citrix ShareFile, so you get to the landing page or the dashboard. So what you have to do right here on the upper right corner, we have the apps options. So when you click on here, you will be able to see all the different applications that we have available for ShareFile. So you'll see apps for Windows, for Mac, for mobile, and also Citrix integrations, specifically for Outlook. So you go app for Windows, you'll have Citrix files for Windows, and here is the Citrix files for Outlook. So right here, you can go ahead and download the exe file. Once you download this one, so you just need to double click on that file just to run it. And then as a best practice, you have to close out Outlook, just exit out of Outlook for a minute or so. And then you can just relaunch Outlook one more time. So once Once you have that information, just open up your Outlook and you'll be able to see that blue icon right here on the upper right corner, meaning that the plugin was successfully installed. And first time that you do it, you'll have to click here and just to do a sign in. So just enter your share file credentials and that will activate the plugin.
Perfect. So the second part to the question is how, using the Outlook plugin, how is there a way to have an upload files here so that anyone that I send an email to, they can send me any files that I want at any time, and I don't have to actually request files from them?
Absolutely, Grace, and that's a really good question. This is something very common that we get some requests from users to try to get that link into their, let's say, email signature or just under the email. And in order to do that, basically what you have to do is just go here to the new email. When you do a new email, so as we reviewed during the presentation, so you have here the encryption option, so you can encrypt this email or not. But here we have some different options as well. So we have the request files. So first thing that I wanted to mention, if you click right here on request files, so what it will do is basically will just auto-populate this message here. And once the end user clicks on here, they will be able to upload files to the system. Now, something important to mention is if you're using this default option, when the user uploads the file, it's gonna get to the file box folder. So basically, just for you to have an idea, that file box folder is just a temporary folder that is created on the share file. And the folder is gonna be there for just a few, not just a few days. It's gonna be there for quite some time, but after some time, it's gonna be deleted. If I'm not mistaken, it's after 180 days, it's gonna be deleted. So you have to be careful because that's something that you really wanna keep. So the best recommendation is just to move that folder or that file to a different folder. Or the other way that you can do, let me just go ahead and delete this one, is instead of just clicking here, you see that there is an arrow menu here. So you can go ahead and click that arrow menu that will bring you to this custom settings. You do the custom settings, you'll be able to make some changes to the default options. So you can stop from getting that notification when a file is uploaded. You can modify the security options for the user to upload the file, and you can set the expiration date for that. Also, as I mentioned, really important, the upload location. So if you don't want those files to go directly to the file box, you can always click here on edit, and you'll be able to determine where exactly you want that folder to go. So you can go directly to personal folders, you can go, let's see, and you can go inside the personal folders and select where you want that folder to go. So next time you click on OK, so you see here that it will say that files will be uploaded to demo. Just click on OK, and the new link is going to be populated here. So as you see here, well, actually, that's something that I do. I have it on my signature, and you can always edit your signature or your email signature to include that specific link.
Perfect. Thank you, Jonathan. Can you also maybe show us what it looks like from the recipient's perspective? So if, let's say you sent me an email and I wanted to upload a file, if I clicked the click here, what would that look like?
Oh, yeah, perfect. That's a good question. So just in the same line, let's do that. I'm gonna send this to my personal email. I'm gonna go right here, and this is a file request. Okay, I'm gonna send this. Let me just bring my my personal email. Okay, just signing in here. Just one moment. Okay. So right here, you're seeing I log in into my email. So this is the email that I received for the file request. So when I click here to upload the files, I will just click it there and it will take me to the share file screen. So remember that I changed this to basically ask for all this security information. So I'm just gonna enter my email address. So the end user will just need to confirm this information here. And this is personal. Okay, and I'm missing the M. So I can go ahead and click on continue. And then here I can go ahead and do browse for the file and just drag the files directly to that screen. So I'm gonna go and drag this one here and I click upload. So I can actually include as many files as I want. And then next time I'm gonna go back here to my screen and go to the dashboard. And well, something important, you'll see that file will be showing here on the recent files. And you can also go to the folder, personal folders demo. And you'll be able to see that folder here. I'm sorry, not that folder, but that file actually that was uploaded here to the system.
All right, perfect. Thank you, Jonathan. So the last one that came in was regarding remote upload forms. So if you wouldn't mind briefly showing us how to create those. But one thing that I do want to highlight to those listening is that not everyone is going to have access to create these. You do need a permission for managing the remote upload forms. So not everyone's going to see this if you go to your account. However, you can reach out to your administrators and they may be able to give you access to create this.
Okay, perfect. So you wanted to see on the remote upload form, right?
Correct, yeah.
Okay, yes, give me one moment on that one. Okay, I'm sorry, thank you. I just wanted to double check that I got the right information here. So in order for that remote upload information, so as Grace was mentioned, this is something that sometimes needs to be enabled and it can be just under admin settings. So you need to go to the settings, admin settings, then under advanced preferences, and you have here the remote upload forms option. So you click on here. So you will be able to edit this screen and add a new form. Let's say just thinking on this one. Okay, let's go add a new form. And then you just need to complete the following information. So just enter a description for that form, You need to choose the destination. So whether you want it to use on a predefined folder or you want to go do a file drop. Okay, I'm gonna just name it this one, test. Then the file drop folder, right? Or you can just go ahead and select a specific folder. So I'm gonna use this one. Then you just need to enter the URL that you wanna have the users to return. And you want to modify the uploader information for the folder. You can add some custom fields, and you can also, and once you're done with this, you just need to save it, and then you will get the code that you can use in your website.
All right, perfect. Thank you so much, Jonathan. Thanks everyone who have submitted their questions today. Just a few things to remind you is that we do have the handout or the PowerPoint that we went over today under handouts on your GoToWebinar console, so feel free to download that as well. And then we do have these admin and end user webinars bi-weekly. So in 2 weeks, if you want to come back or tell your fellow colleagues to join, we have another session coming up here soon. You'll just click on access that same registration form as before and register for one of the future webinars. But again, thanks everyone for your time today. We will leave the GoToWebinar open just a couple minutes to give you plenty of time to access those handouts, but thank you.